1 year had passed since humanity cut ties with the Council. In that short time, the galaxy had changed more than it had in the previous 1,000 years. The Grand Council Chamber on Centauri Prime, once the seat of the Elder Race's power, now served a different purpose. Where once only a select few species held authority, representatives from 94 different worlds now gathered as equals. Captain Ryan Murphy stood at attention as his ship, the ESS Defiant, orbited Centauri Prime. After his victory at Ta City, he had become something of a hero. Now he had the honor of escorting the delegates to the first official assembly of the Sovereign Alliance. "Captain, the last shuttle is ready to depart," his first officer informed him. Ryan nodded. "Who's our final passenger?" "Ambassador Jack Miller, sir." Ryan smiled. Everyone knew Jack Miller, the man who had walked out of the council chamber 1 year ago and changed the course of galactic history. He had been called out of retirement for this historic day. On the surface, Jack stepped out of the shuttle and looked around. The spaceport was crowded with beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Species that had once been enemies now stood side by side, talking and even laughing together. "Quite a change, isn't it?" said a voice beside him. Jack turned to see President Susan Wright. She had aged in the past year, her hair showing more gray, but her eyes were bright with pride. "Madam President," Jack greeted her with a small bow. "I didn't expect to see you here." "I wouldn't miss this for anything," she replied. "Besides, I'm delivering the opening address." Together they walked toward the great domed building that had once been the council headquarters. Now banners displaying the Sovereign Alliance symbol, a circle of stars with no center, hung from its walls. Inside the chamber, delegates from across the galaxy filled the seats. Unlike in council days, there was no hierarchy. All seats were on the same level, arranged in a perfect circle. President Wright took her position at the speaker's platform, which now stood in the center of the room rather than at the front. "Honored representatives," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. 1 year ago, humanity stood alone against the Council. Today we stand together as equals, ready to forge a new path for all our peoples. A wave of applause swept through the room. Susan continued, "The Sovereign Alliance is founded on principles of mutual respect, cooperation, and freedom. No species will rule over another. No technology will be restricted. No world will be exploited for the benefit of others." As she spoke, Jack noticed movement at the chamber entrance. A small group of figures entered quietly and took seats in the back. He recognized them immediately: Vorsarians, Illurians, and Crodon. The elder races had come. President Wright saw them too. Without missing a beat, she addressed them directly. "To our friends from the former council, yes, I call you friends, we welcome you. The Alliance has voted unanimously to accept your application for membership. Your knowledge and wisdom are valuable to us all, as equal partners in our shared future." The elder race's representatives looked startled. They had expected hostility, perhaps even revenge. Instead, they were being offered a place at the table. After the ceremony, Jack found himself standing on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Dr. Olivia Clark joined him there. "The firewall defense grid is being adapted for all Alliance worlds," she told him. "And Paul Wilson's drive system is being shared with every species that wants it." Jack nodded. "And the Diraxians are teaching us about technologies the Council suppressed for centuries." "It's a new galaxy," Olivia said softly. Below them, beams from dozens of worlds moved through the streets. Children from species that had once been bitter enemies played together in parks. Merchants from distant planets traded goods freely, without council tariffs or restrictions. When Jack had walked out of the council chamber 1 year ago, he had hoped for freedom for humanity. He never imagined they would free the galaxy. "Ambassador Miller," called an aide, "they're ready for your address." Jack straightened his formal uniform and touched the Earth insignia on his collar. He thought about how far they had come, and how far they still had to go. As he walked back into the chamber, representatives from 94 worlds, including humans, Duraxians, and yes, even the former council elder races rose to their feet in respect. Jack smiled. Humanity had found its place in the stars, not as conquerors, not as servants, but as equals, standing tall among the countless civilizations of a truly free galaxy. News of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The Council had controlled all official communication channels for thousands of years, but they couldn't stop the truth now. On planet after planet, species that had lived under Council rule heard the same incredible story. A small human fleet had defeated the mighty Council armada. The impossible had happened. The unbeatable had been beaten. 2 weeks after the battle, Julia Sanders sat in a simple meeting room on the neutral planet Proxima IV. As Earth's best diplomat after Ambassador Miller's retirement, she had been tasked with an extraordinary job, creating a new interstellar alliance. Around the table sat representatives from 27 species. Some had left the Council during the recent fracture. Others had been independent for centuries. All were nervous, excited, and cautious. "We call it the Sovereign Alliance," Julia explained. "Unlike the Council, each member will have an equal vote, regardless of how old or advanced their civilization is." A Galatian representative leaned forward. "The Council maintained peace for 15,000 years. How will your alliance prevent wars without the elder race's authority?" "By working together as equals," Julia replied. The Council didn't prevent conflicts. They simply decided who was allowed to win. Murmurs of agreement spread around the table. Many species had suffered under the Council's peacekeeping. On the former Council homeworld, the situation was growing desperate. Without the resources of their member worlds, the elder races were struggling. Food shortages had led to riots. Power systems were failing. In an emergency meeting, the Vorsarian High Elder addressed the few remaining Council representatives. "Our agents report that 53 former member species have expressed interest in the Humans' Sovereign Alliance," she said, her voice trembling with anger. "Our 15,000-year rule is collapsing in mere weeks." The Crodon war leader growled, "We still have superior technology. We can force them back." "No," said Zarvex, rising from his seat. "I have studied the battle data. The humans revealed only a fraction of their capabilities, and now they have the Duraxians as allies." Silence fell over the room at the mention of the Duraxians. Everyone present knew the dark truth. Centuries ago, the Council had tried to exterminate the Duraxians when they developed technology that threatened Council control. They had failed, it seemed. Back on Earth, Dr. Andrew Phillips made an incredible discovery. As the head researcher at the newly opened Ancient Knowledge Center, he had been studying files taken from Council databases during the chaotic days after the split. "President Wright, you need to see this," he said, placing a datapad on her desk. She looked at the screen and her eyes widened. "Is this verified?" "Triple-checked," Andrew confirmed. "The Council deliberately prevented us from contacting 7 other species with rapid development patterns similar to humans. They feared we might form alliances." "Where are these species now?" "Most are isolated, told the same lies we were, that they're alone in having aggressive tendencies." Andrew pointed to the star map. "But this one, the Nexari, broke away 50 years ago. They've been hiding on the edge of charted space." President Wright immediately contacted Admiral Donovan. "Send our fastest ship to these coordinates. I want friendly contact established with the Nexari within the week." Across the galaxy, the revolution continued to spread. Species that had been subjugated for millennia began asserting their independence. Ancient Council secrets began to surface. Hidden technologies, suppressed discoveries, manipulated conflicts. On a distant world called Teralis, a massive crowd gathered outside what had once been the Council's regional headquarters. Captain Ryan Murphy watched from the landing pad as thousands of the planet's insectoid natives celebrated their freedom. "I never expected to see anything like this," he told his first officer. "The Council ruled through fear and lies," she replied. "Once those were exposed, they had nothing left." Captain Murphy's communication device chimed. It was a message from Earth Command. New mission orders, Captain. We're being reassigned to the Andromeda sector. Diplomatic escort duty. Murphy raised an eyebrow. Diplomatic? For who? Jack Miller is coming out of retirement. He's been named Earth's official representative to the inaugural assembly of the Sovereign Alliance. As his ship prepared for departure, Murphy looked once more at the celebrating crowd. The galaxy was transforming before his eyes, and humanity, once considered a minor species, was at the center of it all. He newcomers immediately opened fire on the Council fleet, their advanced weapons cutting through Council shields like they weren't even there. Vex Puller stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The Duraxians are extinct. The Council eliminated them centuries ago. Apparently not, his first officer said quietly. Surrounded, outmaneuvered, and now facing allies they never knew humans had, the Council fleet began to break apart. Some ships tried to flee. Others continued fighting. But the outcome was already clear. Council vessels are retreating, Admiral, reported Lieutenant Harris with a grin. We've won. Admiral Donovan didn't smile. No, Lieutenant. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. The massive Council armada entered the Sol system with confidence. 300 warships, representing the combined might of the elder races, moved in perfect formation toward Earth. At their center was the flagship Eternal Dominion, commanded by Vex Puller, the most decorated Crodon military leader in 5 centuries. Resistance. Vex Puller asked his sensor officer. Nothing yet, Commander. Human defense stations are active but not firing. Their fleet appears to be gathered around their moon. Vex Puller made a sound that passed for laughter among his species. 47 ships against our 300. This will be quick. On the bridge of the ESS Vigilant, Admiral Donovan watched the enemy approach. Status of the firewall. Ready? Admiral, replied Lieutenant Harris. Dr. Clark has it at full power. And Operation Phoenix. All units in position. Admiral Donovan took a deep breath. Let them come a little closer. We want them fully committed. The Council fleet passed the orbit of Mars, moving steadily toward Earth. They expected token resistance, perhaps some pleading for mercy. What they didn't expect was silence. They should be begging for terms by now, Vex Puller growled. Sensor sweep again. Still nothing unusual, Commander, his officer reported. Wait. Energy spike detected. Around Earth, thousands of hidden satellites activated simultaneously. The firewall defense grid came to life. A shimmering blue energy field expanded outward from the planet, growing until it encompassed Earth, the Moon, and humanity's gathered fleet. What is that? Vex Puller demanded. Before anyone could answer, Admiral Donovan's voice came through on all channels. Council Fleet, this is Admiral Claire Donovan of Earth Defense Forces. You have entered sovereign human space. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. Laughter erupted on the Eternal Dominion's bridge. Brave words from a doomed species, Vex Puller replied. Surrender, and we may spare your civilian population. Admiral Donovan smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. She pressed a button on her command chair. All ships execute Maneuver Omega. Captain Johnson, you have the lead. From behind Earth's moon, the human fleet emerged. But they didn't move as a group. Instead, they split into small, fast-moving squadrons, darting in different directions. Track them, Vex Puller ordered. They're moving too quickly, his tactical officer complained. Their speed exceeds our database specifications for human vessels. Vex Puller growled in frustration. Fire all weapons. Destroy them. The Council fleet opened fire, thousands of energy beams streaking through space. But the human ships were moving too erratically, too fast. Most shots missed completely. Leading the counterattack was Captain Eric Johnson on the ESS Swift. His squadron of 5 ships darted between 2 larger groups of Council vessels. Fire pulse cannons, Eric ordered calmly. target their engines, then weapons. Blue energy bursts struck the Council ships with pinpoint accuracy. Within minutes, Eric's small squadron had disabled 12 enemy vessels. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. The human ships were outnumbered but fighting with unexpected tactics and technology. They struck quickly, disabled key systems, then moved on before the Council ships could respond. On the Eternal Dominion, Vex Puller was growing desperate. Order the fleet to tighten formation. We need to consolidate our firepower. As the Council ships drew closer together, Admiral Donovan saw her opportunity. They're clustering, she told her bridge crew, just as we predicted. Activate Phase 2. Throughout the solar system, hidden weapon platforms revealed themselves. Hundreds of unmanned drones launched from concealed bases on Mars, Venus, and the larger asteroids. Operation Phoenix was fully underway. The Council fleet, now packed tightly together, suddenly found itself surrounded. Impossible, whispered Vex Puller as his tactical display showed the true scale of the human defenses. Where did all these come from? Admiral Donovan's voice came through the comm system again. For 50 years, we prepared for this day. We built our true fleet in secret, while showing you only what we wanted you to see. The battle took an even more surprising turn when 3 spacecraft of unknown design appeared at the edge of the system. New contacts, shouted Lieutenant Harris. There, Duraxian design, Admiral, and 2 other unknown configurations. The Council chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives shouted at each other across the Grand Hall. Some pounded their fists or equivalent appendages on their desks. Others huddled in small groups, whispering urgently. Order. I demand order, called the Illyrian chairperson, her skin flashing angry red patterns. No one paid attention. In just 1 month, the mighty Galactic Council, stable for 15,000 years, was falling apart. The Crodon War Minister stormed to the center platform. Enough debate. The humans have broken our laws. They hide forbidden technology. They must be brought back under control. From the middle tier, an Arthaxian representative stood. Perhaps we should consider why they left. The trade reports show the humans were giving far more than they received. Silence, roared the Crodon. The young races have no place questioning the elder species. The decision is made. We attack the human worlds in 7 days. Across the chamber, 12 representatives from younger species stood up and walked toward the exit. Where are you going? Demanded the Vorsarian elder. A Galatian speaker turned. If the council no longer listens to all voices, then it is no longer a council. It is a dictatorship. As the 12 representatives left, the remaining council members stared in shock. Nothing like this had happened in recorded history. On Earth, engineer Paul Wilson was working in a secret facility deep under the Rocky Mountains. For 10 years, he had designed ships that complied with council restrictions. Now, finally, he could build what humans were truly capable of. How's it looking? Asked Admiral Donovan, who had come to inspect his work. Paul wiped grease from his hands and grinned. The new drive is ready. Without council restrictions, we've increased speed by 800%. Will it be enough? The Admiral asked quietly. Paul's smile faded. Against 300 council warships, we still only have 47 battle-ready vessels. But our ships will be faster, more agile. And we'll have the home field advantage, Admiral Donovan added, plus the firewall. At that moment, in the main control center for Earth defense, Dr. Olivia Clark was making final adjustments to the firewall defense grid. The system used quantum technology to create an energy shield around Earth and its closest colonies. Power output is stable, she told her team. We can maintain the shield for 72 hours at maximum strength. Her assistant looked worried. Will that be enough time? It will have to be, Olivia replied. In the president's secure bunker, Nicole Bennett burst into the strategy meeting, her face pale. Madam President, we've intercepted council communications. They're planning a full-scale attack on the Sol system. 7 days from now. President Wright kept her composure. Earlier than we expected. Send the alert to all colonies. Begin civilian evacuations from the outer settlements. Nickel hesitated. There's more. Our spy in the council reports that 12 species have walked out of the council in protest. The Galatians, Jovan, Pentari, and 9 others. For the first time in weeks, President Wright smiled. So the council is fracturing, just as we predicted. Any word from the Duraxians? Yes, Nickel said. They've sent coordinates for a meeting. Tomorrow. Good, the president nodded. It's time to activate Operation Phoenix. Nickel's eyes widened. Are you sure? Once started, we can't turn back. I'm sure, President Wright said firmly. Send the code to Director Rodriguez. Across the solar system, hidden facilities began powering up. Secret shipyards revealed vessels that had been built in pieces over decades. Military bases that officially didn't exist started launching unmarked ships. Operation Phoenix, humanity's ultimate contingency plan, was designed for one purpose: to ensure human survival if the Council ever turned against them. For 50 years, Earth's leaders had quietly prepared, hoping they would never need to use it. On the edge of the solar system, Lieutenant Sam Kelly's scout ship continued monitoring the gathering Council armada. His sensors detected something new. Command, the Council ships are moving. Current trajectory suggests they'll reach Sol in 6 days, not 7. In Earth's defense headquarters, Admiral Donovan received the message and turned to her officers. They're coming early. Battle stations. Everyone. It's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. 3 weeks after Earth cut ties with the Council, the effects were rippling across the galaxy. Kevin Morrison, Earth's top trade specialist, watched the data stream across his screen with a mix of worry and satisfaction. Human goods have completely disappeared from Council markets. He told the small group gathered in his office. Their economies are starting to feel it. President Susan Wright nodded. What are the hardest hit sectors? Medical supplies, advanced electronics, and surprisingly, food, Kevin replied. It turns out we were exporting more grain and fruit to Council worlds than anyone realized. For decades, the Council had painted humans as the ones who needed the Alliance more. The truth was emerging now. Many Council species had grown dependent on human goods and services. On the Council homeworld, the situation was becoming desperate. In a private meeting chamber, the Vorsarian scientist Sarvex faced angry Council leaders. How severe is the shortage? Demanded the Illyrian High Minister. Sarvex's 6 eyes blinked nervously. Critical, especially in the medical sector. Human doctors and medicines treated 40% of serious illnesses across Council space. 3 hospital systems have already collapsed. This is outrageous. The Crodon war leader shouted, pounding his armored fist on the table. We should force them back into the Council. The Illyrian leader's skin pulsed with patterns of distress. Our latest intelligence suggests that would be unwise. The humans have deployed defensive systems we cannot penetrate. And after the Tau Ceti incident, no one needed to be reminded of that humiliation. 6 Council ships defeated by 1 human vessel. There is something else, Sarvex said quietly. I have studied human advancement patterns for many years. I believe we have significantly underestimated them. Explain, the Vorsarian elder demanded. Humans progress exponentially, not linearly like most species. Each breakthrough leads to 3 more, then 9, then 27. Without Council restrictions, I calculate they will surpass our technology within 5 standard years. Silence fell over the room as the Council leaders absorbed this disturbing news. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the stock markets had finally stabilized after weeks of panic. New trade routes with non-Council worlds were being established. Kevin Morrison hadn't slept in days. The Duraxians came through, he told his assistant, pointing to the latest figures. They've opened their markets to us and provided coordinates for 3 other independent trading species. Outside the Earth Alliance Bank in New Chicago, A crowd had gathered to watch the giant display board. For the first time since the split from the council, economic indicators were turning green. An older man in the crowd nudged his neighbor. "My son works in the shipyards. Says they can't build new merchant vessels fast enough." His neighbor nodded. "My daughter's medical practice is swamped with requests from frontier worlds that used to rely on council care." What neither man knew was that 3 minor council species had secretly approached Earth that morning. The Galatians, Jovan, and Penteri, all relatively young races who had joined the council in the last century, had sent a joint message to President Wright. "We wish to discuss mutually beneficial arrangements," the message stated carefully, avoiding words like alliance that might trigger council monitoring. In her office, President Wright read the message twice before calling in her advisors. "It's starting," she told them. "Just as we hoped. The council is fracturing." Security Chief Nicole Bennett looked concerned. "The Arthaxian contact warned me this would happen." She also said the elder races won't let the council break apart without a fight. "Then we need to be ready," the president replied. "How's the firewall coming?" "Dr. Clark says it's at 90% capacity," Nicole reported. "Full coverage of Earth and our inner colonies. The outer settlements are still vulnerable." President Wright walked to the window and looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, council ships were probably gathering, planning their next move. "We need more time," she said softly. "Just a little more time." On the edge of human space, a lone scout ship picked up an unusual energy signature. The pilot, Lieutenant Sam Kelly, checked his readings twice before sending an urgent message to Earth Command. "Massive fleet detected at coordinates 227 to 84-103. Configuration matches Council war vessels. Count exceeds 300 ships. Request instructions." The storm was coming. Captain Ryan Murphy felt sweat trickle down his back as he stared at the tactical display. 6 Council enforcement vessels surrounded the human research station orbiting Ta City. His ship, the ESS Defiant, was the only thing standing between them and the 300 scientists who worked there. "They're hailing us again, sir," said Communications Officer Tina West. "Put them through," Ryan ordered, squaring his shoulders. The scaly face of a Crodon commander filled the screen. "Human vessel, this is the final warning. The Ta City research station is now council property. Remove your ship immediately or face destruction." Ryan kept his voice steady. "This station belongs to Earth. Your presence here violates our sovereign territory. We request that you withdraw." The Crodon's mouth formed what passed for a smile among his species. "You no longer have council protection. Your weapons are inferior. Your shields are primitive. You have 10 minutes to retreat." The screen went dark. Lieutenant Greg Peters, the weapons officer, looked at Ryan. "Sir, they outnumber us 6-1. "Yes," Ryan agreed, "but they don't know what we can really do." He pressed a button on his chair. "All hands, battle stations. Activate Protocol Omega." Throughout the ship, hidden panels opened. Systems that had been disguised as something else revealed their true purpose. For decades, humans had pretended to be less advanced than they were. They had shown the Council only what they wanted the Council to see. "Power up the pulse cannons," Ryan ordered. "Prepare the quantum shields." Greg's eyes widened. "Sir, those are forbidden technologies." "Not anymore," Ryan said grimly. "The Council's rules no longer apply to us." The minutes ticked by. Ryan used the time to position his ship between the station and the Council forces. At exactly 10 minutes, the Crodon ships opened fire. Energy beams streaked toward the Defiant. Everyone on the bridge braced for impact. But instead of explosions, they heard only a low hum as the quantum shields absorbed the attack. "Return fire," Ryan commanded. "Target their propulsion systems. We want to disable, not destroy." The pulse cannons fired. Blue energy bolts hit the lead Crodon ship with perfect accuracy. Its engines died immediately. "Impossible," came the shocked voice of the Crodon commander over the open channel. Ryan smiled. You were saying something about inferior weapons. The remaining council ships regrouped and attacked together. The battle became a dance of light and energy. Ryan's smaller force moved with precision and speed that surprised the council forces. Decades of simulations and secret training were finally being put to use. 2 hours later, 4 council ships drifted powerless in space. One had retreated. The 6th had been destroyed when its captain tried a suicide run against the research station. Ryan wiped his brow. Casualties. 3 wounded, no deaths, reported his first officer. Begin evacuation of the research station, Ryan ordered. We have 2 hours before council reinforcements arrive. On the council homeworld, the news of the battle caused shock and outrage. The council leaders gathered in an emergency session. How did they defeat our ships? Demanded a Vorsarian elder. Their technology was primitive. A nervous scientist named Sarvex stepped forward. Esteemed leaders, I have analyzed the battle data. The humans were using quantum shield technology and pulse weaponry. Both are far beyond what they showed us. They deceived us, roared the Croton representative. For years, they pretended to be less advanced than they were. On Earth, Security Chief Nicole Bennett was dealing with a crisis of her own. Her team had uncovered 3 separate assassination plots against Earth's leadership. The Arthaxians have agents in New York, London, and Tokyo, she told President Wright over a secure line. We've arrested 2, but 1 is still at large. President Wright nodded calmly. Increase security, but keep this quiet. We can't afford panic. As Nicole left the president's office, her device beeped. It was a message from an unknown source, using old Arthaxian diplomatic codes. Not all council species support this conflict, it read. Some of us wish to maintain our partnership with humans. Meet our representative tomorrow at the old embassy. Nicole hesitated. It could be a trap, or it could be the alliance Earth desperately needed. Admiral Claire Donovan paced the bridge of the ESS Vigilant, Earth's largest battleship. The main screen showed dozens of human ships rushing back to Earth space. It was the largest movement of human vessels in history. Status report, Claire demanded, her gray eyes fixed on the tactical display. 83% of our ships have acknowledged the recall order, replied her first officer, Lieutenant Ben Harris. We're still waiting on responses from the outer colonies. Claire nodded. She had expected this would be difficult. Humans had spread across 27 star systems, many of them deep in council territory. Getting everyone out safely would be a challenge. What about the Carson mining station in the Proxima system? She asked. Ben's expression darkened. The council has blockaded it. They claim the mining rights belong to them now that we've left the council. Claire clenched her fist. The station had 300 workers, men and women who were now essentially hostages. Send Captain Allen and the 7th Fleet. Tell them to avoid conflict if possible, but the Carson workers are coming home. On Earth, the reaction to leaving the council was mixed. Some people celebrated in the streets, waving flags and singing old patriotic songs. Others stockpiled food and supplies, fearing war. In his office at Earth Defense Headquarters, Secretary William Hayes activated computer systems that had been dormant for decades. Defensive plans that had been theory were now urgent reality. How soon can the firewall be operational? He asked the 2 scientists standing before him. Dr. Olivia Clark, her curly hair pulled back in a tight bun, stepped forward. 3 weeks at minimum. We've been developing it in secret for years, but it was never meant to be deployed this quickly. You have 1 week, William said firmly. The council won't wait longer than that to make a move. Dr. Daniel Rodriguez nodded, his face grave. We'll need more power than the current grid can provide. You'll have it, William promised. Whatever you need. At the main Earth spaceport in New Kenya, chaos reigned as thousands of humans arrived from off-world. Families reunited, crying and hugging amid the noise and confusion. Veteran diplomat Alan Foster moved through the crowds, directing people and solving problems. His gray hair and calm voice made people trust him instantly. "The family from New Mars Colony needs medical attention," he told a nearby doctor. "The couple from the Richardson station needs temporary housing." His communication device chimed. It was Lisa Garcia, one of Earth's top spies. "Ellen, I've got troubling news," she said, her voice low. "The Crodon are mobilizing their war fleets. The Vorsarians are freezing human assets in their banks. And the Illurians are spreading rumors that humans have developed illegal weapons technology." Alan sighed. "So it begins. Anything else?" "Yes," Lisa replied. "I received a strange message. It's encoded using a pattern I've never seen before." "Can you decode it?" "That's the strange part. It decoded itself when I touched it. It's from the Duraxians." Ellen froze. The Duraxians were a mysterious race that had left the Council centuries ago. Some said they had been destroyed. Others believed they had found a way to hide from the Council's ever-watching eyes. "What did it say?" he asked. "Just coordinates in deep space and a time. And one sentence: humans are not alone in seeking freedom." Alan's heart raced. "Send this directly to President Wright. And tell Admiral Donovan. If the Duraxians are real, and if they're reaching out to us, it could change everything," Lisa finished. As the sun set over Earth's capital city, the planet buzzed with activity. Ships filled the sky, carrying people and resources to defensive positions. Old bunkers were reopened. Forgotten weapons were tested. Humanity was preparing for isolation, or worse. The time for diplomacy had ended. Now, they would learn if they could survive on their own. Jack Miller stood at the large window of his private quarters, looking out at the artificial rings of Centauri Prime. The spectacular view had once filled him with wonder. Now it only reminded him of all the promises the Galactic Council had broken. For 10 years, Jack had served as humanity's ambassador to the Council. 10 years of watching the elder races manipulate, exploit, and suppress Earth's potential. 10 years of smiling and bowing while alien bureaucrats treated humans like clever children. 10 years was enough. His communication device chimed. The encrypted message bore the seal of Earth's President Susan Wright. Jack pressed his palm against the scanner, and the message appeared. "Ambassador Miller, after careful consideration, Earth's united government has made its decision. You are hereby authorized to terminate all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council, effective immediately. The time for compromise has passed. Bring our people home, Jack." Jack read the message twice, then deleted it as protocol required. He straightened his formal blue uniform and adjusted the small Earth insignia on his collar. His hands trembled slightly, but his resolve was firm. The Grand Council chamber was an enormous half-circle, with rising tiers of seats for representatives from 27 different species. The elder races, the Vorsarians, Illurians, and Crodon, occupied the highest positions, literally looking down on everyone else. Jack's seat was near the bottom, where Earth had been assigned when humans first joined the Council 80 years ago. "The Council recognizes Ambassador Miller of Earth," announced the Illurian chairperson, her translucent skin glowing with faint blue patterns. Jack walked to the central speaking platform. The familiar faces of alien diplomats stared back at him. Some were allies. Most were not. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Jack began, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "For 80 years, humanity has participated in this body with good faith and optimism. We have followed your regulations, paid your tariffs, and respected your boundaries." The chamber was unusually quiet. Perhaps they sensed what was coming. "In return, our technological advancement has been restricted. Our colonial expansion has been limited. Our resources have been exploited through unfair trade agreements that benefited the elder races." Murmurs spread across the chamber. The Vorsarian counselor, Zixtul, leaned forward, his 6 eyes narrowing in disapproval. "Yesterday's vote to further restrict human settlement in the Orion Arm, our own cosmic backyard, was the final proof that this council does not view Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs." Jack paused, looking directly at the elder races before continuing. Therefore, by authority granted by Earth's united government, I hereby announce the immediate withdrawal of humanity from the Galactic Council and all associated treaties and agreements. The chamber erupted. Some representatives jumped to their feet, shouting in various languages. Others sat in stunned silence. Zixtol's voice cut through the chaos. This primitive emotional outburst is precisely why humans cannot be trusted with expanded territory, he said, his translator conveying his dismissive tone perfectly. The Council has guided 1,000 civilizations. You will return, begging for readmission within a standard solar cycle. Jack smiled thinly. That is unlikely, Counselor. Effective immediately, all human diplomats, scientists, and military personnel are being recalled from Council space. All trade agreements are suspended. All technological sharing programs are terminated. You cannot survive without Council protection, shouted a Krodan representative, his armored exoskeleton clicking as he gestured angrily. We have survived on our own for thousands of years, Jack replied calmly. We will do so again. He removed his Council identification badge and placed it on the platform. Goodbye and good luck. You may find you needed us more than we needed you. Jack turned and walked toward the exit, ignoring the growing storm of voices behind him. As the massive doors closed, he heard the beginning of what would become the Council's first major crisis in centuries. Humanity was free, and the galaxy would never be the same.